it's Shanae. I'm here to do my first top 5 Tuesday in like 3 weeks, and it feels weird that I haven't done one for a while. But I'm excited. But it was really kind of good though, because it's sometimes really hard to think of themes and I just don't know what to do. So to have a break from it, it's like good. I don't have to think of themes for 3 weeks. But today I want to talk about the top 5 ways to read more. So these are probably all things that you've heard of before, but I'm listing the ways that I find it easy to read more as well, from 5 to 1 obviously. But I'm excited to talk about ways to try and read more in your everyday life if you're having struggles. It's not about getting out of a reading slump, because I don't really know how to get out of one, because I kind of feel like I've been in a reading slump for the past year, but I just didn't want to accept it, so I just kept reading. So I'm not a good help at all for how to get out of a reading slump, but these ways might help you get some more reading done anyway. So let's get into the list. So number 5 is bring a book with you everywhere. I cannot stress enough how many times in your life that you are going to end up having to wait for something and you've got nothing to do, and if you had a book you could easily read a book. I bring a book with me every day to work. Like, I may not read it, but I do get an hour lunch break, and if I end up not talking to people or not watching TV, I read like 20 pages of my book. So that's 20 pages read each day at work. So that's 100 pages a week of reading that I get done just because I bring my book to work. And if I didn't bring it, I wouldn't get those 100 pages read. But at the moment, it's a lot easier for me to bring a book on my phone, because then I'm not actually physically bringing the book around. I used to physically bring a book around with me before I got into audiobooks, but still, if you're going somewhere and you're getting your car serviced and then you realize you got to wait 2 hours, what do? You read your book. What if you suddenly have to go to an appointment, or you're suddenly at the airport and your plane gets delayed? There is so many times when you suddenly have a lot of time on your hands and you could be reading, and in my opinion it makes me want to read because I'm so bored that reading a book would be the best. The number 4 is reading through a different media. So only this year I've recently started listening to audiobooks. Like, I never did it before, and I never thought that I could listen to an audiobook because I just felt like it wasn't actually like real reading. But then I listened to The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and my opinions are completely changed, and I get it. I get it, audiobooks are amazing, and that's what I was meaning. Like, I bring an audiobook on my phone, so if I have time I listen to an audiobook, and that's a good way to get more reading done. But if you are just bored of sitting there with your book and it's just becoming really hard because that's all you can think about is I don't want to read, if you just listen to an audiobook while you're doing stuff, like I listen to my audiobooks mainly while I'm driving, because I have a 20-minute drive to and from work each day, so that's 40 minutes of an audiobook I can listen to every single day. And I still listen to CDs sometimes, but it's still fun listening to an audiobook. And like, if you're doing chores, if you're doing homework, like maybe if you can't concentrate while you're doing homework, but still, like, there's things that you can be doing and you can just plug in your audiobook and listen to that, and you're getting reading done, and it is fun because it's like having a conversation with yourself because they're talking to you. But you could also do ebooks because you can bring them on your phone, or you might have them on like a tablet. But I find generally swapping between different medias for reading books helps me read a lot more. Number 3 is readathons, because they challenge you to read a lot more. Like, I went for a stage where I was doing like 2 readathons a month because I just loved doing them, and then I just couldn't do it anymore because I'm like, I'm reading too much, it's killing me, and I think I like mentally drained myself. And now I only do a readathon if I'm really excited about the challenges, or like my friends doing it, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it with you. But readathons are the best, and the thing with me is I always challenge myself to the full extent of the readathon so that I have a lot of variety to pick from. But for me, on average, I probably get 3 books read in a week-long readathon and like 6 in a 2-week readathon, but that's 3 books that probably would have taken me like all month if I didn't do the readathon. So readathons are very great, and it's also good because it's such a community thing, because you're reading with other people at the same time and you're not reading the same books, but everyone's trying to read as much as they can, and it just makes it so much fun. And there's always challenges and photo challenges and just all the stuff happening, and it's great. So number 2 on my list is buddy reads, and I feel like this can be similar to readathons, because if your buddy wants to read the book quicker, you're kind of forcing yourself to try and read it more. What I like about buddy reading is there's someone reading it at the same pace that you are, and you can discuss it, and because you're there like discussing and having theories and like liking the same characters or having different opinions, you're just constantly talking about it and thinking about it. You just want to read, and I find that it always helps me, and that's why I've had such fun like the past couple of years doing buddy reads with my friends Sarah and Jack, because we have like this chat on Instagram and we message each other, and we always be like, okay, by the end of the week we're going to read 10 chapters. And for me, it just makes me excited because I want to get to it. I want to finish reading so then I can be there to discuss it with my friends, and then we can all be like, oh my god. But I also do buddy reads with Sasha a lot as well, and we always have fun talking to each other, and I just generally find that I read the book quicker if I'm reading it with someone. And number 1 on my list is one that's very much for me, but I find that I read a lot more if I take some time before I go to sleep to read a couple of chapters of my book, or if it works for other people to read a couple of chapters in the morning when you wake up, but just set a time during the day where you only are gonna read. And I used to do it a lot more often. When I used to live in Newcastle, I remember every night I'd read like 3 or 4 chapters of a book, and I was very good at it. And then I moved here and I always stay up really late, and most of the time like I edit a video and then I'm like, I gotta sleep. I don't do it as often as I used to when I was so good at it. But at the moment I'm reading 4 Dead Queens, and I have seriously only been reading this book for 4 days, and I have only got 50 pages to go because I decided to try and push myself to read some more at night. I read 80 pages before bed on the first night. I read another 80 pages the next night. Then I read 130 something pages, and then today I only had 100 to read. But I've gotten into the idea of reading this book a lot more quicker. So I do find that it does help. If you set it that you try and read 50 pages, or you try and read a chapter, or if you try and read 2 pages, that is still 2 pages you wouldn't have read because you didn't make yourself read before bed. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think it works to just have a set time to do something. Unless you're procrastinator, which is another reason why I sometimes don't read before bed, because I'll be like, oh no, I might just watch TV, or I might just go on my phone. But it is a good way to mentally make yourself be like, yep, this is my reading time and this is when it's gonna happen. So guys, those are all my ways to try and read more often, and I do try and do it, but a lot of the time I end up just watching TV. Like I'm rewatching Once Upon a Time at the moment, and because I've only owned up to season 3 for so many years, I would just rewatch until season 3, and then I'd be like, okay, so I've watched the first 3 seasons so many times, but season 4, 5 and 6 I have only watched once, and season 7 I haven't even watched. So I'm getting to the point where I'm like near the end of season 3 and I'm like, it's about to go down, Hook and Emma are gonna be a thing, and I'm so excited. So my reading has been a bit all over the place, and especially with me not reading hardly anything for like 18 days while I was in Hong Kong, my level of reading has gone drastically low, and I'm trying to build it back up again because I want to do the Owls readathon next month in April, and there's a lot of books to try and read, but I'm excited about it. Like I'm trying to get the excitement up there and to be excited, and I'm like, yeah, Harry Potter. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and it helps out anyone who's having struggles trying to read, even though these are the same things that most people say, but I rated my reasons. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.